Yo, what's up bros, Nuru here, coming back from ZZZ break with another big gacha video, this time discussing soon to be released gacha game ZZZ, which is a fantasy action gacha where you take the role of a proxy which helps your playable characters explore alternate dimensions called hollows. Other than that, it is in a urban setting with post-apocalyptic elements since the Ethereals, the main enemy faction will be going against, came out of these portals, which are the so-called hollows, as I previously mentioned. So, the lore is nothing particularly interesting. We saw this post-apocalyptic stuff in dozens of other gachas already, but let's not judge the book by its cover, as maybe there are some redeeming qualities about this one. This gacha comes from the Hoyoverse, the company responsible for Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, so very mainstream and popular titles. So now let's get over the gameplay aspects. As you can explore the city the game takes place in. Now it doesn't mean that there is like open world or anything, but it's still cool to be able to go out and see a thriving city and its inhabitants, as well as eat some food to gain buffs for your next battle, and just chill out between doing story and dailies. You will be also to choose between two of the siblings on the start of the game, and yeah, there is no way I'm choosing the dude. So now let's get to the actual fighting. Your agents or characters split into specialities. Attack agents specialize in dishing out massive damage. Anomaly agents will specialize in applying debuffs. Your support agents will obviously support your characters in battle by giving them buffs. Stun agents have crowd control possibilities, give you opportunities to get in some damage going, and defense will obviously be there to keep your character alive longer by providing shields or other means of protection. So yeah, this is a pretty obvious classification inspired by Star Rail's paths, which is pretty good thing to include, as it immediately tells what character's role is without having to go into paragraphs worth of text, which are Hoyoverse skills description. So with classes done, let's get into the elements and their effects, shall we? First will be ice. As you attack, you accumulate ice tribute anomaly, which when full will result in effects such as freeze, which will prevent enemies from moving for a while, and at the end of the effect will trigger a shatter, which will deal some nice ice damage, as well as frostbite, which will reduce ice resistance of the target for a certain amount of time. Next is fire, which when the bar of fire tribute anomaly is full will trigger boon effect, which will deal some damage over time, as well as make the organic enemies unable to move for the period of the burn. Physical type characters will be able to trigger effect of assault, which will interrupt enemies action and deal big boy physical damage, and armor break, which will lower the resistance for physical damage. Coming to the ether element, will be able to trigger effects of corruption, which will be able to amplify your ether damage for some time, and this effect will interrupt energy enemies. And closing in the element section is electric, which will trigger the effect of shock, which will deal some additional damage, interrupt enemies' actions, and stun robot enemies when in effect. So yeah, I'm kinda glad that the effects of the elements aren't locked behind combining two specific elements with each other, and instead you will be required to bonk enemies a few times to activate those. There is also some so-called weapons known as Wii engines that will offer some passives to the characters similarly to the light cones in Star Rail. Also, the Hoyo team that's behind ZZZ really is trying to better the game to the likes of the players since the last beta tests. So I'm not too worried about game's future, and seeing how robust the characters are, I think all kinds of people will be catered to the game, as the gameplay looks nice and flashy, which will surely be a welcome sight for iPad kids and their ADHD syndrome. And on the standard 300 pulse, you will be able to choose your standard unit, which I'm really hyped about seeing on how nice the characters look. Also, seeing the banners for version 1.0 really scares me, as there will be two pretty nice looking characters on banners. This will be Ellen Jo, which is a premier attack DPS unit of the ice element, and in the second phase Zhu Yuan will release, and her role will be an attacker DPS with the ether element. Man, what is with the first characters all being DPSs? So Thank you for watching, my dear viewer. If you enjoy my content and want to support my content creation, then be sure to hit that sub button and don't forget to turn on the bell to don't miss any videos. And yeah, I will see you later, alligator. Yeet!